we've got a Sunspot spotlight, we've also got a war ratings bug, and don't forget the predictions for round 2 of Arena. Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Monday the 5th of August 2019. Lots of stories to get into. Please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and let's, without further ado, get into those news stories. Our first story begins with Sunspot. As you can see, the Sunspot spotlight, which, try and saying when you're drunk, is up on the forum. The 3 best things about this character can be summarized in these 3 points here. Top 2 solar charges as well as flare state, all about increasing your offensive damage and doing a lot more damage just in general. Whereas the third one works towards your defensive aspects, and especially with Incinerate being on the enemy and helping to recover solar charges. Looks like with the stacking of things like solar charges and flare state, the extent of damage output could be incredibly powerful. But for me, I'm very excited to look forward to Warlock, but there's still definite viability in this champion. One thing to watch out for is signature ability. With this, it does mean that you can get a maximum number increase of solar charges by 30, which is going to mean for some more damage dealing. The synergies look to be alright and obviously will benefit a lot of mutants, but at the same time touch on others. With Warlock being added in this month, it looks like we've got a synergy that is indeed involved with that. And not to mention a few others, including MODOK and Red Hulk having his kind of AIM kind of nod. And as well, we've got something with Iron Man, Infinity War and Captain America. So that is pretty cool to see as well. The main thing to point out, and something that people will look at as what the heck's going on here. And I think this is a first, not 100% on that if other champions have had this, but it seems to be one of the first, is that things are based off of an increase on signature level. So the higher signature level you have it, the better that synergy is going to be, which kind of sucks if you can consider the fact that then if this is a new way that Kabam are going with things, that it does push you to kind of go for more the featured champions if you are desperate to get this champion, desperate to get it up to level 200 to then make it more stronger. But it would be cool if there was more signature stones at 5-star available for this. But we'll see how things transpire. But I'm interested to see, but a bit wary to see where they're going with this kind of increase based on signature level. Also, Max PI puts this in a very strong position, as I think about the 6th with Thing just above him in the whole kind of prestige aspect. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to kind of go, right, this is another new champion that is then put into the top 10. Will this be an ongoing theme with Namor, with a few others as well? Now, what of the prestige? Well, what in fact it does, it puts it into a very strong position at number 6, just above Thing here, and sandwiched between Captain Marvel. That's a nice little sandwich. But still, it is another new champion that's gone into top 10. Mysterio was recently put in and is definitely at 10. We have Namor that was obviously put in quite recently, and that is has gone a strong 2. But others will factor in and then out, so yeah, it's still a case that Thor Ragnarok is still right at the top with Phoenix, who's been in there for a while. So it's kind of cool to see that. And I think Kabam will play about with this Max PI and just switching between stuff out of the top 10 and into top 40, those kind of things. If you want to give a read to the Sunspot Spotlight, then go to the link in the description down below. In other news, and should we add Kabam related people? No. Next up, on the 31st of July last month, we saw a lot of issues when it comes to war rating, loss, as well as win. Mainly for those affected with the win, it is kind of important to see a change in that, especially when we enter into seasons. Now, before, when we did the off-season, it was a case that the war rating was frozen, and everyone was just having a regular time with this. But when it came to seasons, this is the point where you want to see yourself grow. You want to see yourself go up to the new level, the new tiers, and feel that you've accomplished something. Well, it did seem that last week it was not the case. But also some people were experiencing a locked function, but they weren't able to get in or even start a war. Something that's still plaguing a few people at the moment and causing a few support tickets to go in. Some stuff I've seen on the Facebook community page where people have said to Kabam, hey, well, we're not able to find any kind of war we've enlisted, or it's a case they haven't been able to enlist. Some really shady stuff has been going on. Kabam might reported this as being a visual issue, and he said it once, twice, but not 3 times a lady, which was a bit sad to see. However though, people said, right, okay fine, well you're working on it, let's see what happens. 4 days ago, Kabam Lyra said that they were indeed still working on this and still looking to have a resolution. Later on the 2nd of August, Kabam Zibit said this was indeed being worked at and hopefully would be in game and sorted very, very soon. So where are we up to now? Well, there's a lot of information to process. A lot of people felt very differently about where their multiplier lies, but effectively it does seem the case that people are not seeing correct information or what they perceive to be correct information. Kabam have yet to respond to any of this, and it's kind of a 3-day quiet period where we haven't heard anything since the 2nd of August. This might be one of those situations where it's all resolved at the end of the season, which isn't always great, because when you kind of go, well, yes, I've got a good positioning, and then other people are then, and other alliances are then put in different places, then you kind of feel shitty because then it's then pushed you out of a certain tiering. Either way, hopefully Kabam give an answer on this, because it is a little bit difficult at the moment. From the point the war rating had this kind of scuffy 0 thing from the off seasons that then wasn't rectified going into actual seasons. Yeah, there's still a lot of problems for people at different tiers in Alliance Wars. In other news, any of you have wondered about the sizing of MCOC characters against, well, comic book like characters? Well, there's something that went on as a debate yesterday in the community page on the Facebooks. Go to the link in the description if you want to have your say on it. It was kind of cool to see people throwing up different suggestions about the fact that, well, Thor Ragnarok is actually built on Chris Hemsworth as opposed to actual Thor, which is more comic book like. They're talking about the sizing and he's 6'3", and then maybe it's not the case. It's a very interesting debate, which is always nice to indeed see. The way that Kabam built characters is that it's down to some aspects of comic book lore, but also their own lore. The fact that things can be scaled down, it is a thing within Marvel Contest Champions, but they give these kind of nods. As you can see here with Dormammu, the sizing, as we know, is a very small sized character. Well, basically the character as we've seen with Doctor Strange, as well as we know from the comic books. He is absolutely humongous, but the fact is, well, there's tiny nods to things like the L3, which this one is here, and I suspect that will happen for a lot of champions, and it still continues to be a thing, especially with Human Torch. Only when you get him into the L3 do you see the majesty of him in his Human Torch form, as opposed to the Johnny Storm kind of form. And now on to our final story, and it's arena predictions for round 2 time. Now, from the results I've seen so far, there is a strong shout for Havoc dropping under the 3 mil mark, but I can't confirm that. I've definitely seen 3.1 mils, and that's probably where I would direct my predictions for round 2 for Havoc, as 3.1 mil. I've seen the 5-star version of Iceman go for 38.1 mil, but I think it still would be better for people to shoot at least 40 mil to secure themselves that Iceman at 5-star. And it's a great champion, it's a great immunity champion, and still great damage dealing. It seems it is popular now, so that's great to see. The 4-star version of Iceman, a bit difficult because not many people have actually posted information of what they got and how they got him. Some have put at 9 mil, which I think is a bit too excessive. However though, if you want to get him, I still think that he'll drop 6.2. And let's face it, some of these people that are putting in 9 mil were getting positions that are like 40. So it is going to be a case that it will drop a lot low. Go back to Marvel Contest of Champions True Courses page. Link is in the description a little bit later on for the full there we have results. It. That has been the Marvel Contest of Champions news for the 5th of August 2019. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Check out some of the other content that's coming up here, especially keep up to date with the playlist of Marvel Contest of Champions news, and I'll see you tonight for the live stream. Bye bye.